on 20th of April 2020. This is the third lecture on Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism and its impact on Vidarbha region. Professor Rahul Dakhne has spoken about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism and its impact to a larger extent today in the invited talk. And I would just like to focus some of the points as a commentary on this particular aspect right now. Well, basically, when I'm going to talk about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism, we need to understand what exactly Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism in modern India is. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism is an epoch-making history in the history of conversion in the India, because lakhs of his disciples have converted to Buddhism in the modern India. We can rather say that it's a Dhammachakra Pravartan. The first Dhammachakra Pravartan was done by Samrat Ashoka in the ancient time, and that was a massive Dhammachakra Pravartan, the massive way by which the people have converted to Buddhism. In modern India, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar converted to Buddhism, and it has got various reasons about which Professor Rahul Dakhne has discussed a lot, and his PhD thesis is there on the particular aspect of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism and its impact on the Vidarbha region. Vidarbha region is that Nagpur and all other areas are called as the Vidarbha region. So this is one thing that we need to understand. It's a PhD degree that he has received for this dissertation on Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism. Now we need to understand that why did Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar convert to Buddhism? So in that consideration, we need to understand that the Indian social system and scenario forced Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to convert to Buddhism. This is one thing that we need to understand. And the point is over here is that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has studied and analyzed the entire Indian system and scenario. And then he understood what social system that existed in India to a larger extent. And after analyzing all these particular points, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has analyzed this, and he has written various books, Caste India, Annihilation of Caste, and various other books that he has written. His volumes published by Government of Maharashtra. Now here we come back to the origin of reasons of conversion to Buddhism that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has explained in his various books and his writings and speeches also. Now here we need to understand that what were the system. In the Rig Veda, in the 10th Yamana, in the Purusha Sukta, how the universe has been formed is been explained. And while explaining that, they have explained that Brahmana has been born from the mouth of a Brahma, and Kshatriya is born from the Bahu of a particular Brahma, and Vaishya is born from that laps of that particular Brahma, and then the other backward caste, I repeat, other backward caste, which is called as a Shudra, not a CST. So they are born from the left leg, left thumb. So this is the story of the origin of the universe. And later on, this Chaturvarna system was giving such kind of an inhuman discrimination to the downtrodden to larger extent. We find that the systems that were developed by the Aryans in the India after defeating the non-Aryan peoples were caste system, untouchability, bonded labor, slavery, and many other systems. Boycott systems also, Bandi systems also, about which Professor Rahul Dakhne has explained in his speech. So we need to understand that the touch of a human being was not been allowed and was considered to be making a polluted to the upper caste people in the Indian society. That is one thing that was sure at that particular time. And then this happened that the untouchables were outcast. They were forced to live in the outskirts of the villages, and they were not allowed. They were not allowed to enter inside the villages. That is one thing. And they were deprived from the education. They were deprived from the right to property, right to earn, right to live with the dignity in the society. They were not allowed to enter inside the villages, not allowed to take the water inside the villages, and not allowed to go for the particulars in the society for all different sorts of programs. Rituals were not allowed to be performed by the untouchable persons. This was one thing. And the most important part was that they were not allowed to take education. This was the mandate of the various Dharma Shastra. What are the different Dharma Shastras that we need to discuss? And then I'll just pinpoint and talk about what exactly things are there. So it's Manusmriti, it's Vedas, it is Apastama Dharma Sutras, it is Narada Smriti, it is Vishnu Smriti, about which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has already written in Shudra Purvikor Hote Who Were Shudras in his book, and he has analyzed what kind of pollutions were created, considered by this Dharma Shastra. If an untouchable touches the water, then what sort of pollution is done, what sort of punishment has to be given to that particular person who's from the untouchable community. If he tries to recite the Vedas, if he tries to listen to the Vedas, as Professor Rahul Dakhre has already said, that it was the lead was being poured, the hot lead was being poured into his ears so that that person will die. Such kind of things, such kind of restrictions that were imposed upon the untouchables in the Indian society for thousands and thousands of years, and they were deprived from the human rights, self-dignity, and they were alive but they were dead. This was what discussed in the particular lecture right now. Let me come back to the topic, and again I just want to say that the story of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism is not a story of one day. We need to understand that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar asked for the right of representation, political representation in the 1919 before Southborough Franchise Commission, and then it went on and on. Simon Commission and many other commissions he has faced. He has asked for the political representations because he found that there was no representation to the untouchables and downtrodden in the society to a larger extent. So this was one thing that Dr. Ambedkar wanted to tell the people that we need to be humanized. He spoke at the time of the Southborough Franchise Commission that we don't have any motherland. We are there is a he has put forth some concepts. He has put forth the concept that there is a nation within a nation. There is a nation within a nation. Nation of the upper caste is different, and there is a nation which is of untouchables. That is another nation which is on the outskirts of the nation. So the concept of nation within a nation has been developed by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. We need to understand and we need to theorize why Dr. Ambedkar has put up this theory of there is a nation within a nation in the Indian society. And if we want to bring the entire Indian nation together, then there was a need of conversion to Buddhism. That is what Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has put up, and Dr. Rahul Dakhne has also taken the care of that particular aspect in his PhD thesis. Now let's go back to the further aspect and let us know what exactly things are there and what is the due course of time of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism. He was been attracted to Buddhism by a book which was given to him by Krishnaji Arjun Keluskar when Dr. Ambedkar was in the school about the life sketch of Buddha. And then Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was attracted to it. And when he went to school, then he observed that he could not sit in the schools along with his friends and he has to sit on the gunny pots. Because the reason was that if Dr. Ambedkar directly sits on the particular the floor of that particular school in the class, then that entire school, that particular portion would get polluted. That was the concept that was there in the mind of the people. That's why he has to use the gunny pot and he has to sit there. He could not fetch the water from that particular wells also. So these are if he has to cut the hairs, his sister used to cut the hairs. The other backward caste peoples were not also cutting the hairs of the untouchables. This was, I think, something. This is something misery. So OBC and BC. So this was clashes that was been developed by the Dharma Shastra, about which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has explained in his various books. So let us go further and understand how this happened. So Dr. Ambedkar wanted to change the society. He wanted to build social democracy in the society, and in order to change that, in 1927, in 1930, he launched the civil rights program. What was the civil rights program? Was Mahad Water Tank Satyagraha, and then he observed that people were not allowed to fetch the water from the common places to the untouchables because they were untouchables, and the water would get polluted. That was a concept that was there in the mind. So if this kind of concepts goes into the mind of the people, then we need to understand that human beings were treated more than animals. They were not treated as only as slaves, but they were treated more ill than the animals. That was what Dr. Ambedkar has believed and has experienced to a larger extent. Nasik Kalaram temple movement was launched by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to tell his disciples that he was not interested to go into the temples, but he was interested to show them that they should have their human rights to a larger extent, and that is why Dr. Ambedkar has gone for the Nasik Kalaram temple entry movement, and later on this could not be successful in the event of the temple entry bill and in the event of the bill passed by the Britishers that the common places of fetching the water should be open for all the peoples which are governed by the government, and the historical judgment was given by Justice Brown that these places which are run by the government expenses should be made free for the untouchables and backward classes to a larger extent. And this is something, is a landmark judgment in the history of 3,500 years in India, that court has to give a judgment that human beings are allowed to fetch the water where the government is running that particular area, or it is being governed by that government, and they are doing the expenses. So this is one thing that we need to understand. After understanding and after studying, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar wrote in his newspapers to a larger extent, and then he observed that the untouchables were facing in number of ignominies, about which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has spoken into his book, into his famous speech that is called as the Mukti Konpati. He has explained the various causes of conversion to Buddhism, the physical causes, the religious causes, the economic causes, the social causes, and the many other causes that have been discussed by Dr. Ambedkar, so that they understand what exactly are the problems of the untouchables. See, the basic point was that if you remain in the Hinduism, you will be treated as an untouchable. But the moment you leave the Hinduism, you are not an untouchable. So if you want to be a free man, then you have to leave the religion that was. So he had three options before him: Deshantar, Namantar, and Dharmantar. So Dr. Ambedkar did not decide to leave the country. That is one. That is Deshantar was not possible. Namantar, Dr. Ambedkar renaming. He rejected, and he said that by changing the name, calling Harijan to themselves, the questions and the issues will not change. And then the third option that Dr. Ambedkar was having, Deshantar, Dharmantar, Namantar, and that option was Dharmantar, and therefore Dr. Ambedkar decided to go for the Dharmantar, about which Professor Dakne has been explaining in his particular speech. And I think it's one thing that we need to understand, that Dr. Ambedkar has already given in his speech a direction to the people and people of India, that a man is free, but he is not free if his mind is not free. If his mind is not free. And the mind of the human beings, the mind of the untouchable persons, the backward classes, were not free in India, because they were being they were being affected by this caste system, untouchability system, bonded labor system, and they were forced to live that particular life of animal. So that they will never improve their standard of life. That was one thing. That and Dr. Ambedkar has already opposed this particular system, because he wanted to have the human dignity. He always believed in equality, liberty, fraternity, and social justice. He said that every human beings are equal. If they are equal, then why one person is given a priority, why one person is given a separate privileges, and why another person is not given privileges? About which the Kaiser has explained. And I think these are the important points that we need to understand, that after considering all the atrocities on the untouchables, Dr. Ambedkar has converted to Buddhism, decided to go for it, and then in 1935 he gave a slogan, though I am born as a Hindu, but I will not die as a Hindu. He had got this, he has to give this definition, give this slogan, and has a reason that this was not so easy for Dr. Ambedkar to change his mind. But then he found that there is no change in the society, and therefore he decided to change his religion. And then Dr. Ambedkar was been approached by the various religion, about which Dr. Dakne has explained, and he has talked about this into his PhD thesis also. And the things are like that. Dr. Ambedkar was been approached by Shankaracharya Kutarkuti, and he told that Dr. Ambedkar don't convert to any other religion. And in that consideration, Dr. Ambedkar said, okay, I will give you a chance to change. Let us see. But then Dr. Ambedkar waited for a longer time, and then he observed that there was no change in the society. From 1935 to 1956, this is the time period and tenure, approximately 27 years, many years have been passed, and then Dr. Ambedkar decided to change the faith and conversion, and that Dr. Ambedkar decided, and then 14th October 1956, in Nagpur, the conversion was being taken at Diksha Bhumi, and the reason are that Nagbhumi is considered to be the Bhumi of the Nagas, the backward classes peoples, and that's why Dr. Ambedkar has decided to convert to Buddhism in the Nagpur. And it was millions of people have converted to Buddhism, and after that there was a survey, and then that survey, the population of the Buddhist people in Maharashtra increased to larger extent. This was what been observed. Now let's go back to the further aspect, is that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism and its impact. The first impact was basically that denial of Hinduism was a specific impact on the minds of the people of untouchable community and the people those who have accepted the Buddhism. So that is one. Second impact was that formation of the rise of Neo Buddhism. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has given this Buddhism, when he gave the Buddhism to all the peoples in Nagpur and Maharashtra and to the world, he has given his view of Buddhism. So that is called as Neo Buddhism, that is called also as Bhumayana. He has explained his concept of Buddhism in his book called as the Gospel of Buddha, that is called as what? Buddha and his Dhamma, and he has explained what is Dhamma, what is Adhamma, what is Saddhamma, and he has explained all the concepts that are there. Babasaheb Ambedkar was influenced by Buddhism because of the philosophy of Buddhism. He was been influenced by three Ratna. He was influenced by Pradnya, Shila, and Karuna, and he believed that in life of every human being, Pradnya should be there, Shil should be there, Karuna should be there. Then he was being influenced by the Panchashila. Moreover, he was influenced by Chara Arya Satya, and further he was also influenced by the Arya Ashtangik Marga and Dasaparamita and many other concepts that were there in the Buddhism. So these are all the concepts which are humanitarian concepts, and there is no caste system in Buddhism. That's absolutely important. There is no untouchability in the Buddhism. There is no bonded labor in the Buddhism. There is no discrimination in the Buddhism. There is no discriminatory treatment to the women in the Buddhism. So these are the various points which attracted to the minds of the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to the larger extent, and this is what Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has explained in his particular speech, also in due course of times, and it has been published by Government of Maharashtra. Now there are cultural changes. What are the cultural changes that we need to understand? That the marriages, which Dr. Datta has also been explaining about that, the cultural changes that happen in the life of the Buddhist people are that they have stopped marrying with the traditional ancient rituals. They have started with marrying with the Buddhist principles, and they are calling Bhantejis, they are calling Buddhist Bodhacharyas for the marriages and many other purposes. And so that the changes are there, and it's very simple. There are no rituals in that particular aspect, such as Yajna, Havan, and all these things are Saptapadi. These concepts are not been accepted. It's just a simple thing that they have accepted the Buddhism, and they have accepted the Buddhist faith and the Buddhist practices in the life in true sense. So that is one of another impact. And then education. Education is one thing that education has been imparted to a larger extent, and people have accepted Buddhism, and they have accepted Buddhism in Chocho, and they have accepted everything that Dr. Ambedkar has explained to a larger extent, and they have started taking education to a larger extent. So these are the various points that we need to understand. So social changes are also there. So the people, those were considered to be the untouchable people, those were living on the outskirts of the villages. Now, after converting to Buddhism, they are not untouchables, though the psyche and the mind of the people have not changed to a larger extent, but they don't consider themselves to be an untouchable. They don't consider that the systems that were imposed upon them, that not to enter inside the village, not to take education, not to have the wealth, all these concepts which were imposed by the Dharma Shastras have been denied by them. It's a revolt. It's basically a revolt against the hegemony of the upper caste people that happened because of the conversion to Buddhism. These are the things that we need to understand. Dear friends, conversion to Buddhism is an epoch-making history in the history of the conversion to the conversion in the India, and we consider Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism is a revival of Buddhism in India, in the modern India. Why it is so? It is so because the Buddhism was actually in the modern India in very less form, very less it was been accepted by the people. But because of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, lakhs of people have accepted the Buddhism, and it has been spread. And at one point, at one slogan of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, lakhs of people have accepted to Buddhism, and the upcoming generations have accepted the Buddhism to a larger extent. Dr. Ambedkar has said that he wanted to create a bridge between the Indian Buddhist peoples and the bridge between the international Buddhist community, so that the Buddhism spreads equality, liberty, fraternity, peace, and all the concepts which are humanitarian concepts. So these are all the points that were there in the mind of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and we can definitely say that conversion to Buddhism is just not mere a sort of a conversion. It is an urge. It is an event to go further for equality, liberty, fraternity, and dignity of an individual. So the dignity of the individual should be maintained all the time, and this dignity has to be searched in the Buddhism. That is what Dr. Ambedkar said. Lastly, I would like to conclude and say that Dr. Ambedkar has given the principles of equality, liberty, fraternity, and social justice in the Constitution of India, which are basically from Buddhism only. Dr. Ambedkar at one point and one juncture said that I have not taken the principles of equality, liberty, and fraternity from the French Revolution, but I have taken these principles from my master, Lord Buddha, which are basically Indian principles in the history that we need to understand. That Dr. Ambedkar has been influenced by his three gurus. One was Buddha, another was Kabira, and another was Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. but the principles that he has taken in his life and in the constitution and in various civil rights movements are equality, liberty, and fraternity, which have been propagated by Buddhist thought in the last in the ancient India. As we know that in Theravada, various books are available. Abhidhamma Pitaka is there, Sutta Pitaka is there, Vinaya Pitaka is there. All these Pitaka explain all these different concepts that are being explained by Buddha, and Dr. Ambedkar was very much influenced by Buddhism. He wanted to bring social democracy in India. And how to bring the social democracy is that he told that political democracy is there, but we need to have the social democracy. If we do not have the social democracy in India, then this equality, liberty, and fraternity would not be existing. He at one juncture said that we have one man, one vote, but do we have one value to each and every person? So there was no one value for one man and one vote. So that we need to understand. In political concepts, one man, one vote is there, but one value is not given to that particular individual because his scheduled caste, his scheduled tribe, his nominee tribe, his woman, and his what not so, other backward class, whatever is that. So he said that to to have the principle of one man, one vote, and one value, you should have social democracy. And in order to build social democracy and in the entire world, Dr. Ambedkar accepted Buddhism, and he has said in his book Buddhism and Communism about what is the difference between communism and what is the difference between the Buddhism. And he said very assertively that in Indian social scenario, Buddhism is more applicable to bring egalitarian society, to have equality, liberty, fraternity, and social justice. And in that scenario, we need to understand that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's conversion to Buddhism is an attempt to imbeam the principles of equality, liberty, fraternity, social justice in the Indian society, in the Indian polity, in the world. And his conversion to Buddhism is in search of human dignity, human values, and socialism, social principles, and equality, liberty, fraternity, and social justice. Thank you very much.